Guys, I've been hard at work. Welcome to part 18, Firebird update. I got so much stuff to show you. Let's go. Alright, let's start from the back of the car. So, if you've been following, you'll notice that this is all painted black now. I got Travis to help me finish putting this panel on, which was completely rotten. So I know there's a seam going through here. Don't really care. I mean, there's a patch we had to do right there as well, and another patch over there, but it's a $400 panel that I didn't have to spend. Patch it up, bumper, lights, all that stuff. You'll never see it. Nobody ever knows it's there. Besides that, oh man, so much stuff to go over. So got the gas tank in the car. Since we got that welded up, there's no more welding on the back end of the car. I got a couple little spots to touch up, to fix, but gas tank's in the car. And it just gets better the further we go, so let's roll. Still hadn't hooked up the shocks, which is fine. See, there's that shock over there, this shock over there. Get you out of the bright light, but shocks aren't hooked up, not really worried about that. I ran hardline, fuel hardline. I'm probably going to go over some stuff I've already been over, but you guys will understand. So got the tank mounted, had to do a little bit of clearancing. Got some that nickel copper hardline is actually not too bad to bend by your hand, or by hand. You see I got a couple of 90s up there. I did use a tool to bend that just so they were clean and I wasn't worried about crushing it or anything like that. Got the rubber hose from the tank connecting straight to that. Comes down the frame rail, goes over to just under the passenger, rear passenger butt area. I converted back to rubber line. I have a 10 micron Earl's filter in there, and I decided, instead of trying to snake hard line around this and keep it going, that I would just use a piece of rubber hose, or two pieces of rubber hose, to get past up and over the subframe connector here. So that's what I did, and goes back and then goes hardline all the way up to the engine bay. And that's kind of where I stopped. But speaking of, things look a little different, don't they? Started working on the exhaust. Like I said, I'm going backwards because it's exciting. Engine and transmission are in, if you can't tell. So I did have to modify this cross member. I added this piece of C-channel just to extend it just that far. I mean, it wasn't much, but my dad had torched some holes in here when he had the cross member back for God knows what transmission. These are the factory holes right here. Couldn't use the factory holes because it pushed the cross member too far forward. It hit the transmission pan. So I didn't really want to try to make holes in the middle there and end up maybe poking a hole through my floor pan or something like that. So ended up using the holes that he put in there with that little extension, and transmission is all in. Now, for you people who don't remember, because these updates are not that often, even though this one is, I said I wouldn't do it. I mean, I said I would do it quicker than a couple of months, and I have, so you're welcome. If you care. So I got a 4L60 I put in here. It was built to handle what I'm doing, and honestly, clearance, you know, I can reach my hand up in there. It's pretty tight up against the, I can't quite fit a finger on top of it, but it's not touching anywhere, so I'm happy with that. I think that'll work. As you can see, started working on a little bit of exhaust, just a little planing. Welded in the bung for the Sniper O2 sensor. And let's see, starter's in, it's shimmed up, good to go. Torque converter, flex plate, engine, all that's in, and it's all tightened down. I got a surprise for these I'll reveal at a later date, but for now I've got the Hooker Super Comp long tubes that are gonna hang out in here. Still need to get an oil filter, oil. I mean, there's still a lot of stuff that needs to be done, but just kind of showing you guys what's been done. I don't know how well you can see up in there, but there is clearance, albeit not a lot. All right, so I guess at this point that's all there is. The bottom of the car is done. Brakes are done, steering's done. Really all I need is a drive shaft and finish the exhaust. That's it. I'm gonna put you on a tripod. I'm gonna let the lift down, and then I'll show you what's going on up front. Back in a minute. Check it out. Don't that look good? Alright, let me take you back off the tripod. Actually, tell you what. Let me just move the tripod around. So, as you guys see up here, painted that water pump, Summit water pump. It's installed. One of those powder coated pulleys I installed. Crank pulley I think I showed in a prior video. Power steering pump installed. Pulleys installed on it. Got an AC compressor ready to go. Tensioner ready to go. These brackets, these aluminum brackets, are actually off that 89 Camaro, the 305. Cleaned those up, painted those, slapped those on there. I did have to cut a little bit of aluminum down here to clear that timing marker. But yeah, it looks good. It's coming together. Down here is where the smog pump went, but obviously I'm not going to use a smog pump because why would I? And dang plastic. Not going to use a smog pump, so I'm gonna try that without buying the pulley that goes in there. We'll see if that works out. You'll notice the only thing missing from the front of the engine now is the alternator that goes right there. And that is because I ordered the wrong one. And I have sent that in for returns. Alright, let me reposition you. And I'll show you each side of the engine. Hold on just a minute. Alright, last video I told you guys all the brakes and everything were done. Got this Edelbrock air cleaner. I like the way it looks. I think it'll match the theme pretty good. I have the Sniper installed as well. That fast EFI bracket, I have that installed. I did the extension on the Sniper and everything clears. I did have to notch that fast bracket right there, but everything clears now. Gas pedal's hooked up. I have full throttle as far as I can tell. So got the Sniper temp sensor hooked up right there. Got the one for the gauges hooked up there. Ooh, that's another thing. I don't know if I want to show you the gauges yet. Nah, I will. Everything's tightened down here. I have a 1-inch spacer on here, but I don't know if I'm going to have hood clearance issues. I have a feeling I am, so that spacer might be coming out. Like I said, I've got the hooker headers on here for now. The vacuum line is hooked up for the brakes. And the oil sending unit is installed. I'll show you that while I switch sides. The oil sending unit for the gauges is there. I ended up having to go to Home Depot and get some copper pipe and fittings. Let me get you moved around to the other side. Welcome to the other side. Transmission, dipstick, locking, done. I know it's dark. Transmission's down there. You've already seen it. From this side, not really a whole lot to show. Here's the fuel lines I've got coming up. I'm going to have them go somewhere about right there. And I'm going to terminate those into AN lines. And then I'll run AN lines back behind the distributor up to the inlet and the outlet of the sniper. Alright, well, let me get you off the tripod. I'm going quick, but it's a lot of stuff I wanted to show you guys. Look, it's shiny and it's installed. The engine stand is vacant for the first time in like 5 years. So let me get you off the tripod. That way I can carry you back around, show you a couple more things, and we'll wrap things up. Be right back. Hey, I've even done work inside the car. Remember last time I said I was going to paint the gas and brake pedal? Well, guess what? I did. So took those out. They're painted. Brakes are hooked up. There's the rod coming from the brake booster. Like I said, the throttle is hooked up, and we have full throttle. We'll see what happens whenever I get carpet and all that kind of stuff in here. The column here, I did rebuild the column. I got the blinker canceling thing that goes inside of it, and I'm sure, as you've already seen, I'll be rolling pictures throughout the video. Got a new little blinky stick instead of that old rusty one. Canceling works. Key, I took that whole assembly apart. It pushes a rod down to a switch that's up there where my pinky is, and that when you turn the key, it pushes that rod. Alright, where was I? Oh yeah, that switch is actuated by a rod, and it's got a gear and the rod itself and like a little cam that's actuated by that key. So now the key was sticking, but now it actually kicks back when I turn it, and it goes to all the positions. Feels nice, smooth, works for me. I'm happy. Soon I'll be able to do that and have it make noise. Alright, let's see what else. I got some stuff, but I'm gonna save that for later. I don't want to give up all my tricks just yet, but I'll show you the gauges. Let's go. So I cleaned up the dash instrument panel. That wood grain, I'm glad it's not faded, anything like that. But installed new gauges. See, the big gauges, I've got that Firebird in there, and it's very subtle, which is exactly what I wanted. These things light up red at night as well, so I decided to put the oil right in the middle because that's kind of important. This is a GPS speedometer. Went ahead and got the fuel gauge there just because I only had a spot for 2 big gauges and 3 little gauges. Got water temp, and I got voltage. All of these, let's see, the TAC has a shift light built in. The GPS speedometer has a LED that'll let you know when you're low on fuel. The oil pressure has a warning light. The water temp gauge has a warning light, and same with the voltage. And then I forgot I had these switches. So there was 2 holes that my dad had drilled in here already, and I didn't really know what I was going to do with them. Then I remembered I had those switches. I'm thinking, oh yeah, that's got to go in there. I like the look of that. So one of them I'm going to use probably for a manual electric fan override. The other one, I don't have a clue. So if you guys got an idea of something I should run off of a switch on the dash, let me know. So guys, hope you enjoyed this update. Ended up being a little longer than I thought it was going to be, but like I said, I had a lot of stuff to show you. So stay tuned. My next goal is, what do I need to do to make this thing run? Because then I got other plans. And we'll bring you along. So we'll see you next time on Chaos Garage.